Hello, this is Greg Allison from Green Greg's coming to you on the 16th of July 2021. Time on deck is 17,500 hours. I'm coming to you from a bountiful cornfield here in Alabama in the southeast and the east. The corn is doing fantastic. As you can see, there should be a record-breaking crop here, but all the farmers in this country aren't as fortunate as we are here in this region here. And in fact, many of you know that in the West, they're suffering mightily. Now, I don't think we're going to have a problem with the corn crop, but we're going to have problems with fresh vegetables, fruits, wheat, and some other things. Especially since, California grows so much of our fruit and a lot in vegetables, fresh vegetables, and a lot of our fruit in Arizona also. You'll find a lot of our fruit is also grown in Washington State, especially, and some in Oregon. And we get a lot of vegetables, like, Idaho potatoes, Fort Myers, Idaho. All those states are in severe drought. And the crops there have withered. They're in pitiful shape. And throughout southern Canada also they have problems. In southern Canada they grow a lot of wheat, they grow canola, they grow barley, and all those crops are suffering bad. And in fact, here's what happens. Many of the farmers in southern Alberta have actually said that their crops have just stopped growing. And they say it's the worst season in 20 years for a lot of their crops. Prolonged periods of heat and very little moisture have taken its toll on these crops. In fact, Stephen Vanderval, he's the Alberta VP for Western Canadian wheat growers. He said, I think this will be the worst crop in Western Canada in the last 20 years. I'm nearest the road here. And he said it's the worst crop ever on his farm. So this is not trivial at all. But I got a friend in Wisconsin. Now Wisconsin, the Dakotas, they're suffering. They're on the borderline. So hopefully they'll come out okay this year. But so far, my friend in Wisconsin tells me that the farms are looking good there. But corn is looking like we're really going to get a bumper crop this year, at least in corn, which is a good thing because we need to offset the shortage in production in Brazil. Brazil is the second largest producer of corn in the world behind the United States, but they have had a severe drop. So, and here in the southeast, what's really worked in the east part is timely planting. This year we didn't have those real heavy spring rains that we get sometimes. The cold weather cleared out early, so we were able to get timely planting. We've had good spring rains. In fact, it's still raining like crazy around here. And the summers have been mild. That all helps to boost corn production. So that's going to help us meet the expectations of the USDA and the country for a bumper corn crop. And it's mainly due again to the crops here in the south and the eastern part of the United States. And that's a good thing, is like I said, it's needed to make up the losses for corn in the west. And actually we're looking at something of prices have been up like an 8-year high lately. Still though, even with all that. Why? Well, Canada, has got their problems, but mainly it's that's not really corn belt. The main problems is the Brazilian production. I meant to say China. The main problems is the Brazilian production shortfall, which I'll go more into in a minute, and the shortfall, actually the demand in Canada. China, I'm getting confused today, guys. China has still got a huge demand for grain going right now, corn and soybeans. They're still flooded in China. It's not quite as bad as last year, but it's close. It's really close. We're having a lot of floods in China, and there's just been floods in Europe. Some of you may be aware of that. I think we're missing like 120 people there in Europe. So that's a fortunate thing. But to see that strong demand from China, and also a rebound in the ethanol market is counting too. The ethanol market is really going to increase the price of corn because people are driving more and we're using ethanol and gasoline. So that's all things that we have to take into account here. But most parts of the Dakotas, Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska are at some level of drought. So, God help them and God bless them. But what we're looking at really is the USDA predicts an average of 179.5 bushels per acre. And they say that's going to wind up being 15.165 billion bushels total for the U.S. corn crop. And that's up 6.9% above last year overall, to make it the best year ever for U.S. corn production in spite of the challenges in the West. Now that could still come in to bite them, but the July forecast of the USDA on corn has usually been pretty spot on. Usually, in fact, until last year, running like 2.2% under, but last year they fell short, I think, a little better than 3, maybe 3.3% because of the drench coat, or whatever you call that big wind that flattened all the corn cobs in Iowa. Well, not all of them, but a good bit of it. Some of that corn was recovered, but you know, that really knocked it down in more ways than one. So add to that, corn did close double digits though, and some of the futures markets for, you know, some of the outlying months like September and beyond, because of this demand from China, the ethanol demand, and things like that. In fact, Rabin and the loss of production in Brazil. In fact, Rabin Bank forecast that Brazil's corn exports will be 21 million metric tons, which is 12 million metric tons down from what they did just last year. So that's quite a drop in Brazil. The reason Brazil had such a major drop was they had a very untimely frost in their corn production early on, I guess, and also they had just dry weather. So the drought and untimely frost really hit the Brazilian corn crop by about a third. That's a huge loss for them, and they're the #2 producer in the world. So, you know, it's a good thing for the local farmers here. We've got a lot of corn coming in. And in honor of that, I wore my corn yellow shirt today. I highly advise y'all to be growing your own food, because there's a lot of questions about food security overall. It's not due to the lack of production capabilities of the American farmer. It's got a whole lot more to do with other things, such as yeah, somebody thought I was in trouble here, so I'm having to wave them on. It's got more to do with demand in the markets, but I really worry about our power grid going down. You know that. I talk about it a lot. And without power, the farmers can't pump fuel. If they can't get fuel, you're not going to be growing all this food here. If we ever wind up with the grid down, this is not happening, guys. Because all these fields are planted by tractors. All these tractors require fuel. All that fuel has to be pumped. The fertilizers, all this stuff has to be manufactured. It's manufactured from mostly liquid natural gas. So you can expect major problems when the grid goes down. This country's not going to have any food. And if it had it, you wouldn't have a way to store or harvest it, store it, ship it, process it, get it in the grocery stores. The grocery stores won't be working, cash registers won't be working. So I highly advise you to grow your own food, guys. Grow your own food. That is the most important thing that you really got to be doing right now. And you can get great deals on seeds if you go to True Leaf Market. And check my link to True Leaf Market below for all your growing and gardening supplies. That'll really help you guys. It's still not too late to grow. Save seeds. Seeds are an investment in the future. I highly encourage you to buy seeds and put them up and save them. All that said, I really want to wish everybody the best and have a great weekend. Have a great day. Bye-bye.